Good afternoon, good morning, good whatever your time of day it is for you. This is the Legendarium Green Team. Today we're doing Porco Rosso, and that's a Studio Ghibli movie. And today we have Hurin fan.
Hi.
There you go. He's a fan of Ghibli, and then we have another fan of Ghibli. We have Yeti Beats.
Hello, hello. Some call me the Porco Rosso of the Green Team.
Yeah, we definitely call him Porco something. Yeah, that's our buddy Yeti. So, and Mom Soul. So here we go.
Wait, before we go on, I would just like to point out it's Ghibli.
That's what I was gonna ask. That was my first question because we have a Japanese speaker here, Huron.
Ghibli.
Ghibli, but yeah, you would probably
Ghibli?
in English you'd probably just say Ghibli.
Okay.
Let's see. I became a huge Hayao Miyazaki fan when I was in high school, and then I consumed his entire catalog, and I've just been been my favorite director ever since. I've watched most Ghibli movies. I haven't seen all of Isao Takahata's movies, and I haven't seen Miyazaki's movies. I've even seen Miyazaki's newest movie. So, ha ha ha.
Well, don't tease us. Is it good? What's going on?
Oh, it's
How is it?
fantastic.
All right.
I've said in the Discord that it's a lot more abstract than his other stuff. A lot of
Okay.
weird stuff, and you'll have to look for metaphors and symbolism. It's kind of mostly about death and grief and acceptance, and it's weird, but it's good.
I pretty much love all of his movies for what they're trying to accomplish, so I'm looking forward to seeing this. So Yeti, what about you?
Yeah, I came to Ghibli and Miyazaki late. I don't think I started watching him till maybe my mid-20s, where I tried to give Spirited Away a try. And I was like, yeah, not for me. I just missed the boat. And then I watched Totoro, and I just fell in love. The carefree kind of nature of that film, and really the score, which is like a constant throughout his movies. It became something I wanted to watch over and over and over again. So I've been slowly trying to watch all of his films. I have gone back and rewatched Spirited Away, and it's probably my second favorite now that I've given it another chance. But yeah, Kiki's I've watched. Howl's Moving Castle. There's still a few like The Wind Rises and stuff I have to get to, but I'd say about 75% through his catalog. And Porco Rosso this is the latest one I've just watched.
Yeah, definitely hard to recommend on The Wind Rises. That's my favorite of his serious ones so far.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's he's got so many different varieties, I feel like, that he encapsulate like he gets that childhood feel, but yet when he wants to do an adult one, he can still do that very well, and it's nice. So
I agree. He's a lot of range.
exactly, which is not something you'd expect for. Well, he did have a long career, so and guess what? I just read an article. He's back again out of retirement for one more movie after this newest one. So yeah,
Don't call it a comeback.
He didn't say it was a movie. He just said he wants to work.
okay. Because I
don't
saw in
know.
the caption is he's like, I got one more in me, and you're like, I wouldn't be another Ghibli film if
Like
he didn't come
Ollie
back from
Ollie
retirement for
Crow,
it.
I don't think it's gonna happen. And Ollie Crow, and I'll be really, really, really happy if it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've loved his movies. As a kid, the first one I ever saw was Spirited Away. I was a little kid watching it on the TV at a hotel with commercials, and I didn't know, like, I missed the beginning, and I think I had to go do something. So I missed the ending. And I was like, this movie was kind of cool. I wish I could go back and see it. Never saw it again for like another 10 years, didn't know what it was called, anything like that. And then I saw Kiki's when I was like 12, and I was like, that was a great movie. And then that's when I started to understand a little bit of where all these films were. And then, once you're like 18 and I could actually go and access and find all these things, then I found it all. And that's where I love them all.
Interesting journey.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. But Porco Rosso, it's a very beautiful film as far as like the islands and what he was trying to do and the setting. I like that. I know all of his films are beautiful. They're hand drawn for like I think he has a requirement. What is it, like 95% of all of the scenes need to be hand drawn? It's a
Wow.
ridiculous requirement, but that definitely shows in the quality of his work. And this one especially with all the cool planes. What do you guys think about the settings?
Yeah, I was hesitant to get into this one because I was always more drawn to his more fantastical films like Spirited Away, Totoro, like even Nausicaa or Princess Mononoke.
Mhm.
So this one I just thought was like a pig fighting fascism, which is,
It
obviously
is, yeah.
something I agree with. It is. Um, but it is kind of uh like you said, a beautiful film, just visually, and a theme of Miyazaki's, or just something I think he's always attracted to, is just flying and being in the air. And this one kind of encapsulates that, almost better than any I've seen so far. Just some of the shots of him flying, and there's one in particular we'll get into that's like just beautiful. That's obviously more than just about flying, but yeah, it's a gorgeous film.
What about you, Huron? What do you think?
I agree. It's all of his movies are a fantastic setting, and this one also doesn't fail in that department. And I agree with Yeti. In general, I enjoy the more fantastical stories. But just something about Porco Rosso like speaks to me so deeply that it doesn't really matter. And yeah, it's an interesting perspective too, as a Japanese man looking at like this 1920s, early 1930s, outside of Italy, fascist depression era setting in the Adriatic. Um, and you're right, it's gorgeous. It's got beautiful flying. About his idea with flying, did you know his father was a manufacturer during the war?
I
Oh
did.
wow.
That came up when I fell in love with The Wind Rises, and I had to look a little into it and his
The
love
Wind
of
Rises is a
aviation.
really interesting movie
Yeah.
as a psychoanalytic perspective on Miyazaki himself, because
Mhm.
he's anti-war is a constant thing in all of his stories,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
also
that's true.
anti-fascism. But he's always had this weird contradiction in himself where he loves flying. He loves flying machines. They named the studio after the Ghibli plane manufacturer, and at the same time,
Hmm.
he resented his father for being a war profiteer, somebody who literally made money by making war machines. Uh, and he's been working through that through all of his work, and
Yeah.
it's a constant theme, and it comes up in I think in this movie as well.
Oh, definitely.
Well, we got the basic setting. Did we want to do a quick synopsis and then jump into some spoilers?
Yeah, let's get into what it's about.
Okay. So I'm gonna thank the lovely Lady Google for a quick
Ugh.
film synopsis because this is a popular movie, so there's definitely one already on there for it. It's in Italy in the 1930s. Sky pirates and biplanes terrorize wealthy cruise ships as they sail the Adriatic Sea. The only pilot brave enough to stop the scourge is the mysterious Porco Rosso, and he's a former World War I flying ace pilot who was somehow turned into a pig during the war. And as he prepares to battle the pirates' crew, American Ace. Do you remember his name? What was his name?
Porco's original name, Marco
No, what was the pilot's name? The American
Bernardi.
Southern guy.
Oh,
Okay,
Curtis.
Curtis. Yeah, it was Curtis. So Porco enlists the help of a mechanic, spunky girl mechanic named Fio, and his longtime friend Madame Gina, who has that island hotel and bar. That's basically the neutral zone, which is a very cool concept that I love. So that's basically the overview of the movie. Um, did you guys want to do some favorite scenes?
Take
Yeti?
it, Yeti. You sound like you want to talk about that.
Yeah, he's about to jump through the screen. So what do you got, Yeti?
I guess you could do. I have a bunch of favorite scenes, but one I'll go into that I think encapsulates. Again, I keep using that word, but Orko himself. Like the big thing I get away from this movie when I watched it the first time, and definitely a second time, is how much self-loathing Porco has for himself. I mean, it's even in the him being a pig. That's the curse. Is he thinks of himself as a pig for
Yeah.
having survivor's guilt from what happened to him. And the scene when he first goes into what Gia's bar and she sits down with him and she says like, I lost my third husband or whatever, and it came back that he died.
Hmm.
And I wish I like wrote out down their conversation, but she said something like, he was a good guy or something like that. And Porco says, yeah, well, only the good ones die. And, already leading you to believe how much like the good ones die, saying he survived, which makes him like a bad person, like a, kind of a garbage person, a monster, a pig.
Yeah.
And then she points even to that picture that she loves of on the wall, him as a human. It's like the last one of him with a human face, and he just says that's like the one thing in the bar he hates about this place is that picture. So I love that scene because right off the bat, like, and like right before that, it's the whole opening with him kind of saving the day for the pirates. It's real heroic. You're like, oh, this guy's like the cool. He's walking through the bar. He's super cool.
Yeah.
And I think that Miyazaki kind of does that purposely, like to kind of lull you into just thinking how cool he is. And then, but when you really hear him talk, he's like, oh, this dude hates himself. He only is out for himself, for money. He doesn't, he hates fastest, but he doesn't care about much of anything anymore until I would say he meets Theo. But that scene in particular is always a standout, and it's beautifully drawn and animated. Him just sitting cool, eating by himself, and pouring her a glass of wine. So yeah, but I really connected to that theme of his, really just that survivor's guilt that he has.
I'm going to disagree with you on one point.
Sure. Please.
I think you said that he was only looking out for himself, and I think that's mostly wrong. I think he's actually quite humanitarian in the way he takes care of people and how he cares for people. Like even in the dogfight at the end, he has Curtis in the sights. He decides not to kill him because he doesn't need to. Or he's even nice to the airplane or seaplane pirates. And that when he saves all the little girls, which is hilarious, by the way.
Yeah, that's a great.
He lets them keep literally half the money.
Yeah,
it's just like he's just dark and brooding, and he hates himself, and he pushes people away because of that self-hatred. He just assumes everyone thinks about the same of him. But I actually think he is quite caring about other people.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think he cares about what goes on the outside, on an outer, like a bigger level, where he's like, he just wants to, it seems like, make money for himself. And then
he's not focused on other people. As a part of who he is, he helps people. Like he's in the war, he helps his friends. He helps in the opening scene. All these little girls climbing all over the plane, and it's just funny. And he even helps kind of the pirates, just like you said, just take out the money. There's your repairs.
But he does do that for money, though, right? Like he's a mercenary. Yeah. That's like his job. So which is a very like self. I'm not saying he's helping. Like instead of being like fighting, because I don't think he's in the war anymore. Like I think he goes to the bank and they say, hey, do you want to buy a bond for like to help the people's, then he said, I'm a pig, I don't care about the people, kind of thing. And that scene kind of made me think, whereas like you're right, he's caring, but there is like a broader societal impact he doesn't care about anymore that I think he used to when he was a human.
Mm-hmm. See, that I think was his anti-fascist side, though, because like they specifically asked him to buy war bonds, and he's not interested.
Like, no.
He's still reeling from World War I, and he's not interested in this. So
that's true.
He's like, well, I have an easy thing. I'm a pig. Why should I have to pay for this?
Right. Good point.
Yeah, that's a great scene. What about you, Hurin? What about one of your favorites?
Can I do two?
We'll allow it, I guess. If you want to do one and then do another one back to back, I guess. It's unheard of, but go ahead.
Miyazaki's known for his fantastic flying scenes. I think he has a flying scene in almost every, if not all but one, maybe.
I think so.
And I think this movie has my favorite flying scene, and it's when it has probably my two favorite.
Is it the ghost
scenes. One? That's the next scene.
Okay, all right.
If you want to talk about that one, you could take it.
No, it's good. It's good.
When they're escaping the Piccolo factory with Theo as the
love that scene.
That's a very fun scene.
And they're trying to fly through the city, and they can't take off because of just the way the plane's built. And he's flying through the city, and they're going through the canals, and it's beautifully shot. It's fast. It's fun. It's just what you want in an adventure story, and it's incredible.
Yeah, that was like one of my highlights of the movie too. Just like him like dipping towards the wings, dipping in the water, and it's like sideways, and she like tells him, I don't know, some sort of term for the plane.
Use the tabs or something.
Yeah, use the tabs, and he gets back on. It was a real nice bonding moment with them, but just the music and like the shooting at them, and they're like flying under bridges along the water and like the canals type thing. That's such a beautiful scene. Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah, I like the way he interacts with Theo leading up to it too. Like he just has a fun relationship where this goes back to Yetis. He does care to where he likes this girl, and she's like, "Oh, it's going to cost you more money to do this, but would you do it because I ask? And he's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. But he's still trying to play it off as the cool guy, and he's just like, yeah, just do whatever you want. That's fine. I'll pay for it.
Well, I think she was a big like. I think that's why her character is so vital. I think she kind of had that turn on him.
She
Where
helps him break out of that kind of shell to where
right,
he starts that. Yeah, he's
yeah,
getting there.
because there's like a scene where she says something about trusting him, or she's trusting, and then the way he says like trust. He's like never approved of the word before until you said it, or the way you said it. So like you can tell she takes a.
Was that right before or right after she sees him as a human?
When they're laying down or when she's in bed.
Yeah.
I think it's
it
right
was right
before.
after.
Oh, okay. I thought it was during the day.
I don't remember, so we'll split the difference. Yeah. All right. So my favorite scene then, since it's what Hurin was going to talk about, then is the ghost ship, or so the ghost flying scene, where you see the planes of his fallen comrades and what basically is the pivotal moment of his life. It's just a great scene, and you see, well, first off, you see the ring in the distance, and you're like, what is that? And you just see it's just beautiful, and you just think it's all peaceful as the ship, or sorry, the plane's rising, and then you see the other planes just slowly go and fade off, and he's just like his dawn on his face, even as a pig. It's like it's just cool. It's great.
What I really liked about that scene is a lot of things actually, but one of the things is he wants like afterwards. I think this is really what turns him into a pig.
He wants to go with him.
Yeah, and he says it's not that he wants to go with him. He wants to change places with the guy who was engaged or married to Gina.
Yeah,
and I really like how long that scene takes. It really breathes, and it takes just as much time as it needs to be, instead of just like I don't know. I think Miyazaki always has like these really nice segments from where they just kind of sit down and they enjoy the scenery, and they don't really worry about taking up too much time. Like in Spirited Away, the scene when they're on the train is the same way.
Yes, such a great scene. But like you said, that's one of those where if it's gonna change the movie and pivot a little bit and give you some really deep knowledge into a character, it's okay to take a little bit of time to do that instead of sometimes we get like a 20-second flashback in some current movies today, and you're like, okay, that's it. That's what we're getting. But that's good.
So with Miyazaki, the thing in my watches, and I think everyone sees, is like he has like a scene in every movie, like Huron was talking about on the one in Spirited Away on the train, that is almost like a painting, almost, or in Totoro, where Totoro's at the bus stop with them in the rain. And I feel like this scene is like that version in Porco Rosso, is when he's just flying and you see that the planes lifting up going into the heavens, kind of with that long beam of I guess dead people who've died in the war. And it was just so beautiful when it like kind of you get a view of that in all of them, and the way he's kind of talking in the background. But yeah, at a certain point I was like, this could be a wallpaper for my computer. It's like, yeah,
like I just got chills. It was just so melancholic.
I think that's one of the reasons we watch these films. They're just beautiful, and then they're insightful, and then sometimes if you want to turn your brain off and I'm sick lying in bed, I can turn it on because guess what? It's just a pretty film with planes and kids getting saved, and that's fine. And that's cool to me too. So
this movie is so funny.
It is pretty funny.
Like I laughed my head off when the seaplane pirates at the beginning are kidnapping the little girls, and you're like, oh, well, do we take all of them? He's like, that would be very nice. You can't separate the group.
Yeah.
Or the terrible like pork roast jokes.
Yeah, the
I don't know
food
how
jokes are funny.
I don't know how they translated that to English, but they were there definitely in Japanese.
Some of them hit. I'm not sure maybe all of them hit, but I know a couple of them did. I did like the way that the kids were on the guns of the turret with the with the one pirate. They were like helping him shoot and just little stuff like that. Like it was just funny to see all these kids, and then also the family, the women that were helping build the plane. That was really cool. I like that a lot. It's a good scene.
I was just thinking like that scene with the women. If that was like alluding to how important they were in the war and doing the jobs while the men were kind of gone and stuff like that. I thought that was. I just assumed that was an American thing because I'm selfish, like in like World War II and stuff.
Right? No, I did too. Yeah.
Obviously, every country, I guess, obviously did that. So, or many others.
Yeah, it was quite funny, and it's quite sexist, and it plays the sexism for laughs, but it also points out how ridiculous the sexism is in the first place.
Right.
Yeah, it's just from all sides. It's just good old family fun with a little bit of insight in between there too. So
Yeah.
it's good.
Any thoughts as to why Curtis was an American and why Theo was American? Also, it was hilarious when Curtis was getting introduced to the Seaplane Pirate Coalition, and the
Hmm.
guy representing him was like, "Oh, he's American, but his grandmother was like a quarter or an eighth Italian, so
Yeah,
it's fine." Which
yeah.
I
One of
think makes
those.
him 1/32nd Italian, and I guess that's okay.
I felt like that was just poking fun at the people who do that. So that I was okay with because the character itself was kind of goofy. I was like, all right, that's totally checks out. Um, I also just a little bit of nitpick. It didn't age well. I feel like that upon first sight, he proposes to a 17-year-old girl. I don't know. That's all. That's probably like one of my few nitpicks. I don't know if you have any like that.
I just thought like he was just saying Americans, like you said, are just dreamers who think they can do everything or the best just because they're American and they fall in love with every girl and every girl's gonna want them. I
That
just
scene
thought,
in the garden with Gino
yeah,
was perfect, and she's just calling him out on all his BS. How do you
right.
feel about Curtis as a character, by the way?
Um, yeah, so I don't know. I didn't know how to figure him out my first watch. I will say when we're talking about funny scenes at the at the end when the pirate or not the end, but the pirates like find Porco's hiding spot and then he looks up and Curtis is like in the crevice. He's just like holding himself. I couldn't stop laughing. He like yeah, he looks
Yeah, that was
ridiculous.
pretty funny. That
And
was
he
a
like
good
does
scene.
like a
He
superhero
does a
flip down.
flip and then he doesn't land correctly and then pretends like he did. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
just
he
comedy
shifts his
gold.
balance. He tried to do the land. It was good. It,
Um,
it's on par with his character. Like his character was silly, but yet just annoying enough to kind of like take it seriously in the fight for the finale. So that's where I kind of like it. I don't love the character. It's not the reason I watch this film.
but he wasn't like cartoonishly evil, and
Right.
so I did kind of like I liked their dog fighting at the end, and there was like a mutual respect for each other, which I kind of enjoyed. He was just kind of he was like a dreamer, like she said, but he did become an actor at the end, which was ridiculous. But
I think I like Curtis. I think he's a little complicated, and he's I wouldn't call him a good guy or a bad guy. He's
right,
just interesting, and he's funny, and he's kind of charming, if not a little bit chauvinistic. Well, quite a bit
mm,
chauvinistic.
yeah,
He's always pushing himself away, or even in the scene where Gina is singing, and he just keeps telling people to shut up, but then immediately he starts talking to Porco while she's talking.
Yeah.
And he literally treats, yeah, he literally treats Theo like an object to be won,
mm,
and yet, like, I don't know, she doesn't resent him for it, and he's somewhat genuine, even though he's
mhm.
kind of a pig.
Right.
I don't know. I think he's an interesting, funny, fully realized character.
All right. What do you guys think about Gina and her role as almost like the neutral zone of her little bar hotel island? I kind of like that as a trope in a lot of movies or series and books that they have it,
Hmm.
where
Um,
no fighting on that island kind of thing.
yeah, they respected her so much. Yeah, I don't know. I the second rewatch, I watched it twice leading up to this.
Hmm.
And the second one, I really wanted to watch Theo and her because I did find them both interesting, but I kind of latched on to Theo more than her and Theo's impact on Porco. Whereas Gia, I'm still not sure. I liked her character. I thought she was an interesting, I guess, love interest for Porco, and I like the scene when they're kids, kind of her being flown by him and just her childish face in the
Her
sky.
dress goes up. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and the embarrassment, and it was just that kind of childhood love was nice. But yeah, I'd like to watch it again just to focus on her and her what I guess Miyazaki's kind of trying to say about her and her lifestyle that she's living. I mean, she's literally kind of just waiting. She said she's a gambler, gambling that Porco will want to settle down with her and kind of not stop hating himself. But I don't know.
Yeah,
What about you guys?
I think you're right. I mean, she's waiting for him, but she's basically already made her choice. It's him specifically. They share a past together. She loves him regardless and just wants to stay and maintain a friendship, hoping that, he gets that change. And then Hurin probably disagrees. What do you think?
I don't really have much to say about Gina. I think she's great. I think she's great with Porco, and I was rooting for their relationship. And like I said, I really like when she puts down Curtis and her relationship with the pirates and everybody in her hotel and their history. But conversations about Fio and Gina and the women working in the factory. It makes me wish that we actually had a woman here to talk to instead of just I don't know three guys talking about feminism.
Three bros.
Yeah.
I
I
think she's
agree.
a great character. I don't really have much else to say.
Okay. All right. Before we wrap it up, any other topics you guys wanted to get into?
Uh,
I'll
go
go
What do
ahead.
ahead.
you got?
Go,
Hurin's
go.
got something. What do you got?
Yeah.
Okay, at the end of the movie, do you think that Gina and Porco got together?
Yes.
Uh, I guess so. Yeah, I'll say yeah.
Okay,
I'm an optimist on that part.
It's
What did you have?
but Fio never saw him again.
yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like, why if that's the truth, then why didn't Theo ever see him again? So that's the only reason why I
I thought
hesitated.
the way that was interpreted was never saw him as the pig again.
Mm.
To be true.
That's
He
also how
definitely.
I interpret that.
Yeah.
I think
Like,
she actually calls him Porco when she says that.
yeah.
Uh,
And he's Marco from then on. Like when he
Ah,
comes back. Yeah.
that was another thing. Another couple of questions. But something I want to point out first is during her flyover scene when she's talking about her as a Piccolo head or president or whatever. If you look closely in Gina's hotel at the very back entrance is Porco's plane.
really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Look at you, eyes like a hawk.
Yeah. He's over there combing. And he's like,
I've seen this movie a
freeze frame.
lot, so
It's good.
it's actually there for quite a while. It's not hard to see.
Okay.
I could
Well,
put it in our DMs.
we're gonna look specifically for it on the next rewatch. Definitely.
Hmm.
And finally, why do you think Porco transformed, and why do you think that did he transform back, and then why?
Well, I think because of Theo. I don't know specifically. I mean, they make you lead you to believe because of that last kind of peck she gives him. But it's like I like talking about. It's Theo as a character. I feel like she just her outlook on life kind of just twisted Porco's kind of self-indulgence and his self-hatred, where she's so endearing and she kind of just sees things as they are. She says, "You're a great pilot. You can save people, and let's fix this plane, and I can help you." Like she has this just beaming positivity. Like you said, she doesn't really get rattled by when someone offends her or like she makes bets quickly. And I don't know, the way he just saw her, I feel like kind of changed got him out of, lack for a better term, got him out of his moping, pointless, because, being self-hatred and having this guilt over something, it's not productive. I mean, anyone will tell you that, like that stuff's, he's just losing time in his life. And I feel like
Yeah.
whatever Theo did in her personality just really unlocked that for him. But I'm kind of twisted on why the kiss in general, the peck kind of did it after that. Maybe it was him saving her from getting married. I don't know, but
Yeah, I think she's the catalyst. I don't think the kiss had anything to do with it. I think it's mostly about Marco's visualization of himself.
right.
I think I agree with both of what you're saying. I do think the kiss was part of it, just almost as like a callback to old fairy tales of
Yeah, that's what it felt
just
like. Like
transforming somebody.
specifically, be like, oh, because of this.
But I
Bing.
think in the war, whether he actually lost or not, because I think even before the end of the movie, when I think he transforms back into human, I think he already always had his humanity. I just think that his image of himself and his reality never matched. And Theo, and to a lesser extent Gia, showed him what he really is like, and that he is somebody worthy of love, and that he didn't deserve to die in the war like all of his friends.
Right.
And I think during the fight, he finds out that Gina's actually in love with him. And Theo tells him she trusts him. And Theo even goes as far as to kiss the pig. And I think and also fighting Curtis for, saving Theo. It taught him that he actually is the person that everybody else sees him the way that he is.
Yeah, perfect. And that's what like my favorite thing about like this movie was, not favorite thing, but the curse is like a self-imposed curse. Like there's no witch that gave it to him. It's not because
Right.
he let people die. It's all him. It's all
Yeah,
internal and how he views
internal.
himself. Yeah.
Exactly.
So the people around him being the ones that kind of got him out of that was kind of beautiful.
I agree. Yeti, did you have something before we got into those last couple questions?
Really, it was just well, Huron kind of brought it up. It was kind of
Okay.
Theo and just how she was like. I said in my second review, like she's kind of the MVP of this movie. Just like when she enters a story, it just really, really takes off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been trying to think where I'm putting Porco Rosso in like my rankings. And I don't know. It might be top three. It might be third.
Okay.
But I'd have to rewatch Nausicaa again because I really love that movie too. And like talk about
So good.
a great protagonist. I mean, that one has maybe my favorite Miyazaki one. So
She's
it's
so
tough.
good.
Yeah, she's incredible.
I
So
mean, I
Reed,
disagree with most rankings, but just because the range, like Kieran said, the range this guy has for all these movies, like
it's almost impossible to
I
rank.
watch
Yeah.
certain ones for specific moods, so it's not like something I could be like, oh, these are the two best ones because of this.
well,
It's
it's all
just,
personal. I think it's like cool
yeah,
what it says about you, how you like. For me, rewatchability is like a big thing, and that's why like Totoro.
yeah.
Like I'll just never get sick of that movie. So
Yeah, whichever list Yeti puts out, I'm gonna instantly downvote it anyway, so it's fine.
as is
It's okay.
tradition.
Yeah, it's a little bit there.
I don't know where I could rank this. I guess it just depends on my mood. I mean, Spirit Away will always be number one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still trying to process his newest movie,
Oh,
so
boy.
that's
Gotcha.
also hard to do. I
Yeah,
don't
this is in top 3 for me. Yeah.
Oh man.
know. By the way, read the manga Nausicaa. Nausicaa. It's
All right.
really, really, really good.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
I
give it a
didn't
shot.
even know it was one. So
Yeah,
it's
I didn't
awesome.
know either. I know he
It-
gets his material from a lot of different places, so it's good to know. Oh,
He's going to the
Huron's
book. He's going to the
he's
bookshelf.
pulling it out. Okay.
It looks like at
This
least
will be the second episode in a row that I talked about this
1,000
manga
pages.
because I recommended it to Philip yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a 7-volume manga that Hayao wrote. When the movie was released, only volumes 1 and 2 were out. So the movie is really kind of an adaptation of the first 2 volumes with a different ending, but it actually gets a lot better, and I think it's much better than the movie, even though I adore the movie.
Very cool. We'll have to give that a shot then. I like the old school vibe and art style of it too.
I know.
Looks cool.
Yeah, the art is so good too. So good.
No, hopefully this releases right around when his new one comes out in the U.S. That'd be nice.
When is it coming out?
I have no idea. They still haven't. It's premiering in North America like now, or yesterday, or a couple days ago in Toronto.
Yeah, it's been recent.
But
Cool.
I'm sure it'll be
Very recent.
sometime this fall. They'll probably have it.
Cool.
I think we did pretty good. So we have a homework assignment from Hurin, and we talked about most of it. So I just want to say thank you guys for watching these movies and giving me a reason to dive in depth to something that I don't always do. Sometimes I mindlessly watch movies, and then other times I get to just really think about things and then talk them through and get different insights. So like the next time I watch this movie, I'm going to be thinking about the things you guys brought up, which is always fun.
Wow. Beautiful.
It's a good experience. You guys have any last words? No?
Work good.
Go watch Ghibli.
Yeah, go watch more. So it's Ghibli. Ghibli?
Try my
I'm
best.
trying.
Underappreciated Ghibli movie is The Red Turtle. Check it out.
The cat returns. So
Okay, and I'll go with The Wind Rises.
I don't
for
hate that
more
movie.
aviation.
I think it's his funniest one.
Is that the second one of the cat one, or is it okay?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't
Was
believe.
it Whisper of the Heart, the first one?
I think Whisper of the Heart was the first one.
Okay.
Mimio Sumaseba. And The Cat Returns. I don't think Miyazaki had anything to do with The Cat Returns. He wrote the Whisper of the Heart, but I'm not sure about The Cat Returns.
Yeti just got schooled, and on that note, we'll call it out. Thank you everybody for listening. This has been the Green Team of the Legendarium, and the music and outro is Jingle Punks. So it's Galactic Damages by Jingle Punks. Thank you, Craig and the Legendarium podcast for everything you guys letting us get started for, and we'll see you next time that we do another Ghibli movie.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm always up for talking Ghibli.